Okay, let's dive in. We're unpacking something today that probably sits with you in those quiet moments, maybe.
Like
Oh,
really early, before the day starts.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That idea of carving out a work-life balance that actually makes sense. It feels so personal, but pretty much everyone's after it.
And what's really interesting right from the get-go in the source material is how it reframes balance.
How so?
Well, it pushes back hard against that picture of a perfect, rigid 50-50 split, you
Yeah,
know?
right. Like it's some kind of accounting exercise.
Exactly. The source makes it clear life isn't a spreadsheet. It's dynamic. It's often kind of messy.
That's such a key distinction. The material defines it not as like a static thing, but more like a sustainable rhythm.
Yeah, a rhythm. It's about feeling fulfilled, keeping your energy up, and I think this is crucial, feeling in control.
In control of how you spend your time and energy across all the important bits.
Right. Your career, family, health, passions, even just rest. All those domains.
And that phrase makes sense. It's not just fluff, is it?
No, not at all. It means this balance has to line up specifically with your values. It has to feel right for you.
Okay.
And the sources really stress that this is shaped by your unique situation, your culture, your personal life, especially for you there in Massenloch, for example.
Gotcha. So our mission here in this deep dive is basically to pull out the best bits, the most practical insights from these sources you've given us.
Yeah, the goal is to help you clarify what that sensible, fulfilling balance looks like for you.
And maybe map out a few steps to start making it more real.
Right. And the source material kicks off by saying the first step, maybe the most critical one, is actually defining what balance really means to you.
Okay, so it's personal from the start.
Totally. It's not some generic definition. It's about identifying your core values, your priorities outside of work, what genuinely matters most to you.
The sources list some common ones people focus on, and they make a specific point about family time, right?
Yes, a very specific note, highlighting how central it often is, particularly mentioning Filipino culture.
And how it often goes beyond just the immediate household.
Exactly. To wider relatives, big gatherings, thinking about your family life there in Massenloch. What does that involve for you? It asks you to consider that.
Right. So beyond that family pillar, what else comes up frequently?
Well, the sources also mention things like personal health, maybe spiritual practices, getting involved in the community like local events or church stuff for you perhaps.
Hobbies, learning new things?
Yeah, all of that. The point is, for you listening, to really pin down your crucial life priorities, the things that make up that side of the scale for you.
Okay, so once you've got a clear idea of those priorities, what's next?
The source suggests trying to envision your ideal week, but, realistically ideal.
Not a fantasy island week.
No, more like if you felt more balanced, genuinely, how would you be spending your time? How much space would those priorities actually get?
And this isn't about creating a rigid schedule to fail at.
No, exactly. The sources frame it more as setting a direction, like finding your compass heading. And crucially, it admits that balance involves trade-offs. It's not about having it all perfectly all the time.
Sometimes one thing just needs more focus.
Right, and that's okay. The insight is that it's about making conscious choices about where your energy goes, rather than just feeling, pulled around.
Okay, that makes sense. So moving from defining what's important
Yeah.
to how do we protect it? Boundaries.
Exactly. The next big section in the source material is all about setting clear, sustainable boundaries, calls them essential guideposts.
Guideposts, I like that. So what kinds of boundaries are we talking about?
Well, the sources explain they aren't just about saying no, though that's part of it. They're active measures. Time boundaries are, fundamental.
Defining work hours and actually trying to stick to them.
Yeah, as much as possible. And communicating clearly when you're on for work, and just as importantly, when you are off.
Protecting the off hours. That's where the real discipline comes in, I find.
Totally. The sources talk about intentionally disconnecting, turning off work notifications.
Resisting that urge to check email late at night or first thing in the morning. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Guarding your evenings, weekends, rest days, specifically for non-work stuff.
Huh.
And the source acknowledges this is tough.
Why is it so hard for people, generally?
Often, it seems like it's tied to a fear of missing out, or what we think others expect, or maybe just not being clear on what's really urgent versus just noise.
Makes sense. What about physical boundaries? Especially now, with more remote work.
Good point. The source advises creating a dedicated workspace if you can, even if it's just a corner.
The idea being, don't work from bed.
Pretty much. Avoid blurring those lines. That physical separation really does help your brain switch gears.
Okay, and then mental boundaries. Those sound trickier.
They can be. The source emphasizes having routines to help you mentally switch off from work mode.
Like what?
Could be anything, really. A specific activity after you finish work, a walk, some exercise, a hobby, maybe a quick mindfulness practice.
For you in Massillon, maybe it's just stepping outside, getting some of that coastal air for a few minutes.
Exactly. Something to signal the transition. The source says this mental shift is vital. Stops you from just endlessly replaying the workday in your head. Allows for real rest.
And technology.
That's a big one.
Huge. Technology boundaries are increasingly essential. The sources really push being mindful of how much you're on devices for work outside of actual work time.
Silencing notifications.
Yep. Creating tech-free zones or times, like
Yes.
no phones at the dinner table or maybe for an hour before bed.
That feels like a battle sometimes.
It can be, and the source specifically flags this as a challenge in really connected places like the Philippines with constant messaging apps.
So how do you handle that?
It suggests finding ways to be polite but firm about your off hours. You don't have to be instantly available 24/7 for work stuff.
And the key is actually telling people about these boundaries.
Absolutely. The sources are clear. They only work if they're communicated. Respectfully letting your manager, your colleagues, even your family know your limits helps manage expectations.
Even if it feels a bit awkward at first. Especially if it feels awkward at first. But it builds understanding long term.
Okay, so boundaries protect the life part.
Mm-hmm.
What about making the work part more efficient so it doesn't spill over as much?
Right. The sources pivot to that next. Optimizing the time you actually spend working. It's not about more hours. It's about mastering your time and energy during those hours.
So you don't need to spill over.
Ideally, yes. And that starts with ruthless prioritization.
Ruthless. Sounds intense.
Well, maybe just really focused. The sources stress concentrating on tasks with the highest impact. They mention things like the Eisenhower matrix.
Urgent important stuff.
Yeah, that one. Sorting tasks to cut through the noise and focus on what actually matters. The danger of not doing this, the source points out.
Is being busy but not actually getting anywhere.
Exactly. You end up working longer but don't feel like you've achieved much.
Okay, so prioritize. What else?
Identifying and minimizing your specific distractions. What pulls your attention away? And also working in focused bursts.
Like the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes on, short break.
That's one example, yeah. The idea is maintaining concentration and, importantly, preventing burnout during the workday itself, not just after.
Makes sense. And planning. Does that help?
Definitely. The sources say even a little planning for the day or the week ahead makes work hours way more efficient.
Stops tasks creeping into personal time unexpectedly.
Right. And one more thing here. Delegation. If your job allows for it.
Handing tasks off.
Yeah. The source highlights that holding on to stuff others could do efficiently just keeps you bogged down and feeling overwhelmed.
So it's about trust, letting go a bit.
Trusting others, and maybe letting go of needing perfect control over every tiny detail. That's key.
Okay, so we optimize work, but then the sources flip it again, right? To proactively scheduling the life stuff.
Yes, and this is where a lot of people seem to drop the ball. The sources are quite firm here.
How so?
Treat your personal commitments, family dinners, exercise, hobbies, even those community things like fiestas, which are culturally important in places like the Philippines. Treat them like serious appointments.
Put them in the calendar.
Block out the time. The sources argue that if it's not scheduled, it often just doesn't happen. It gets squeezed out.
Right. Makes sense. And it's about quality, not just quantity.
Big time. The sources note that focused, quality time, even if it's shorter, is way more restorative than long stretches where you're distracted or still thinking about work.
So be present.
Exactly. And actively embrace those hobbies and leisure activities that genuinely recharge you.
Like gardening or maybe fishing for you near the coast in Massenloch. Reading.
Whatever it is for you. The sources frame these not as luxuries, but as actual necessities for keeping your energy and well-being up.
And I mentioned commute time, too. That's a practical one.
Yeah, especially relevant in parts of the Philippines where commutes can be really long.
It eats into personal time, adds stress.
So you need to account for it when you're planning your life stuff.
Yeah.
Help set realistic expectations, avoids that constant feeling of rushing.
Okay. Now, onto something potentially tricky. Saying no.
Ah, yes. The art of saying no,
Mm.
respectfully, the sources add.
It's okay, even necessary sometimes, to decline extra stuff, work or personal.
Absolutely. If it's going to stretch you too thin or doesn't align with those core priorities you figured out earlier, the internal barrier, the source suggests.
There's often fear of letting people down, guilt.
Yeah, stuff like that. And this is where that cultural context comes in again.
Like in places where saying no directly is hard. Mention Pakikisama.
Right, that strong desire to maintain harmony and be helpful. So the sources suggest finding polite, maybe slightly indirect ways to state your limits.
How?
Perhaps explaining you're already committed. My plate's pretty full right now. Or maybe suggesting an alternative if one exists without, over-apologizing.
Okay, moving on. Health. The foundation.
Unequivocally.
Hmm.
The sources basically say prioritizing your health, physical and mental, is the absolute bedrock. Without it, none of this balanced stuff works long term.
Everything else just crumbles.
Pretty much. So adequate sleep, non-negotiable for energy, focus, mood.
Nutrition, hydration.
Yeah.
Basics, but crucial.
Yep, just fueling yourself properly. And regular physical activity. Highlighted as a huge stress reliever and energy booster.
And the key is finding something you actually enjoy.
So you'll actually stick with it, yeah. Not forcing yourself to do something you hate.
And stress management. Proactively.
Crucial. Incorporating practices like mindfulness, maybe meditation, deep breathing, spending time in nature, easy access near Mason Lock perhaps.
Journaling. Prayer.
Whatever works for you. The point is having strategies ready to handle the inevitable stress.
And mental health.
Yeah.
Don't ignore it.
Definitely not. The sources strongly advise seeking support if you're consistently feeling overwhelmed, anxious, burnt out.
Talking to a manager, HR, mentor, family, friends.
Or a professional counselor. It's not weakness, it's a vital step. Sometimes you just need that outside perspective or support.
Right. Now, a really important point the sources make. This isn't a one-and-done thing, is it?
Not at all. Balance is dynamic, constantly shifting. The sources recommend regularly reviewing how things are actually going.
How often?
Maybe monthly or quarterly.
Huh.
Ask yourself, what's working, what's not? Are my priorities getting the attention they need? What needs tweaking?
Because life happens, right? Things change.
Exactly. You need to be flexible. A big project hits, a family thing comes up. Your balance needs to adapt.
And explore flexible options if they exist.
Yeah.
Like flex hours, remote work.
Yeah, the sources suggest looking into those as potential tools if they're available and suit your situation. They can help with integration.
Okay, finally, mindset. How important is that?
Hugely important, according to the sources. Cultivating a supportive mindset is essential to keep going.
First thing, ditch perfectionism.
Yes. Let go of needing perfect balance every single day. Aim for good enough most of the time. Look at the bigger picture, the week, the month.
Don't sweat the small daily imbalances too much.
Right. And the idea of integration comes up too. For some people, blending work and life flexibly works better than strict separation.
As long as it's intentional.
That's the key caveat. Intentional and controlled, so you don't just slide into being always on. It's about choosing how work fits, not letting it take over.
And being kind to yourself.
Definitely. There will be days or weeks when it all goes sideways. Don't beat yourself up.
See it as learning.
Yeah, the sources frame it that way. Learn what didn't work, adjust, try again tomorrow.
And remember your why.
Such a powerful motivator. Connecting your work to something bigger or just understanding how it supports your life goals and the people you care about.
Makes the effort feel worthwhile.
Exactly.
Okay, so wrapping this up, pulling together these insights, achieving that work-life balance that really makes sense for you.
It's a journey, yeah.
Totally different. Not a destination you just arrive at. It needs self-awareness, conscious choices, and that willingness to keep adjusting.
It takes honesty about your needs, courage to actually set those boundaries.
And the discipline sometimes to protect what you've decided is most important outside of work. But the sources seem hopeful. By intentionally using these strategies, defining your balance, setting boundaries, optimizing work, protecting life, saying no, prioritizing health, reviewing, adjusting, and that supportive mindset.
You absolutely can move towards something more fulfilling, more sustainable, a way where work and life can both genuinely thrive.
Thrive side by side, I like that.
And maybe a final thought for you to chew on, drawing from the material's conclusion.
Okay.
If creating this sensible balance is really about making conscious choices and taking back some control over your time and energy, what's the next single small choice you can make today, right now,
Just one small thing.
to shift the balance just a tiny bit closer to what truly makes sense for you?